What's up, everybody? My name is Daniel. I'm a graphic designer. I currently create digital content for the WWE on Fox. Today I'm going to show you how I made this Super Showdown poster. So go ahead and follow along, see the step by step. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on social media at DB Studios on Instagram and Twitter. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is start with the canvas 4x5. I use a 500 resolution. I use this mainly for our Instagram content, and it looks great as a poster as well. I like to use artboards. Usually when I'm creating, I use an artboard to, see side by side either a reference or a different sample of a design. In this case, I'm going to use it as a reference, use my original Super Showdown poster. So I'll name that reference. And now we're side by side, okay? So we're gonna start from scratch, and I'm gonna have the reference on the right canvas. So let's get started. First thing I do, get the eyedropper tool, get like a gold color, get a purple color, and then split it in half. So as you can see, when I click the artboard, I'm gonna use one of my rulers to make sure I'm really accurate, and she looks like it looks like I am. Go ahead and do that. I also want to use a rectangle tool to kind of put like a border, kind of a trim on the poster. Is something I really like to use now. Instagram now is either dark mode or day mode. And I would think a lot of people have it on dark mode, so this looks really good on dark mode. If it's not, it still looks pretty good on a regular Instagram. And I think it's just part of my design. I like the trim, and I'm just making sure that it's accurate. So I go to all four corners, and just make sure it's sharp. So now I'm going to use the type tool. On the regular design, you can see there's type or text behind the wrestlers. I'm going to use the font Tusker, and I'm going to make it bold. You guys feel free to use whatever font you guys want to use. This is just the one I prefer. I like that it's tall, and it fills up the space pretty well. But feel free to even, make your own Super Showdown posters, right? Make a dream match, right? You can put Undertaker versus The Fiend, or John Cena making a comeback again. Who knows? You can, as you're making this template yourself, you guys can use whichever wrestlers you guys want, type whatever names you guys want, change the pay-per-view if you want. This is just me showing you guys how I did it. So now I'm just placing the text so that it is, looking right. Then I duplicate it and put it on the other side. I'm going to change that second one to Ricochet in just a moment. But let me just line it all up. And you can see, I'm starting to get the background pretty much set. All that's missing on the background now are textures. So let's go ahead and grab, some textures. So what I'm going to do is just go to one I already have. I have one that kind of looks like some dust, some grungy, dirty style, whatever it is. It just looks dirty, and I like that look. What I'm going to do is set the mode to screen and then invert it. So I press Control or Command I. Then I press Control or Command L to change the levels. And I'm doing that so, I just get the effect that I want. Then I'm going to desaturate it because, as you can see, the original one has some color to it. I don't want it to come out blue. I want it to come out unsaturated. So let's go ahead and do that. The second texture I add to this poster is a folded paper texture. And you guys could go on Google Images and find something similar to it. Where I found it was on Getty Images. Go ahead and place it where I feel it would look good. and I changed the mode to multiply. So now we're changing it to Ricochet. Place it where we need to place it. Let's go back to that folded paper texture. Control L. Put the levels like that. And then on the output level, I'm going to take away a lot of black so it doesn't look so dark. I think that looks fine. Maybe a little darker. So we're looking good. We're looking good on the background. I think the next thing we could do is pretty much merge all those layers in a group. And so we can put that away and we don't have a lot of space on the layer box. All right. So let's add this, what do you call that? A shadow on the bottom? I put that because I thought it looked cool. I'm going to use a gradient tool and just eyeball it. That's really basically what I did the whole time when I first created the poster and did the creative process. It's a lot of eyeballing. I'm not really, when I go into a design, I'm not really even sure what I'm going to do until I start working on it. There's a lot of trial and error and seeing what looks good, seeing what doesn't look good. I remember when I first designed it, I used a white shadow or a white glow instead. So let's grab Ricochet. This is a picture that is provided by the WWE itself, and you can see the resolution is super high. It's like over 2,000 pixels wide. It's just a huge picture, really good quality. So let's move. You can see, and the WWE cuts it out themselves. They do a great job cutting them out. It's just amazing what they give me, make my job a lot easier. Resolution super high. So let's put Ricochet on the poster, behind the shadow, of course, just how it is on the regular reference. And obviously I'm gonna desaturate Ricochet so it gives a cool little effect to him. I'll convert him to a smart object, so just in case I decide to change something, it'll be easier for me to do that rather than pressing the Control Undo. So desaturate it, go to levels. When I'm doing levels with people, there's like a little mountain, right, that you can see doing that. So obviously from there to there, maybe it might be a little bit too bright. Output levels, 30 is where I have it set. And on the brightness area, let's just take some away and make those numbers sharp, because if they're not exact numbers, then it'll bug me. It bugs me when I'm watching TV and look at the volume as well. If the volume's at like 26, it bugs me. I'm going to sharpen Ricochet, sharpen more to make a sharper, higher resolution look. And I really like how it looks when I sharpen my images. I usually do that with every single poster. I'm going to rasterize the layer so I could cut half of Ricochet out. So now I have the ruler, so it'll pretty much snap to it. Cut him out. Now he's halfway through the poster. And that is the look I am going for when I am doing that. Let me just add a reference box, so you can see he's pretty much half the poster, right? So there we go. I think that looks pretty good so far. Looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and get started with Brock Lesnar's side. This picture from Brock Lesnar, I actually grabbed on Getty Images with Fox Sports. We have a Getty account, so I'm able to use any pictures that we have. And let's see if I still have it. I don't think I saved the cutout, so I'm going to have to cut them out again. And now you guys can see how I cut out an image. I'm gonna do this kind of fast. Usually I use a pen tool, but just so that we're not here all day, we can just cut them out the quick way. So select subject, it'll select Brock for you. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the select and mask thingy-majiggy. And I like these tools right here. You can see one's a selection tool, obviously. This one right here is kind of like a brush tool, so it'll let you select exactly what you want to select. And then you have the feather tool, I think that's what it's called. I use that to cut out hair, and it does a pretty good job reading it. But obviously you can see by the ear it didn't read it as well, and it's also cutting out part of Brock's head. So with the brush tool, gonna fill that in and just eyeball it, right? It really doesn't have to be perfect in this case. Obviously, for when I create content for the WWE on Fox, I'm using the pen tool, and that will be exactly accurate. So as accurate as it can get with the pen tool. So you can see the computer missed some spots when cutting out Brock. So let's just fill those in, and it's good enough. You know, it's just to do it this way. It's faster than pin tooling it. Pin tooling will probably take me around 10 minutes. And that would probably be like half the video, and I don't want to do that. I could pin tool it and speed it up, but I also don't want to pin tool right now. So let's go ahead and just fill that all in. Again, if you have any questions, please just reach out to me on social media at DB Studios, Twitter and Instagram. I'd love to help anybody out. Again, if you're making this poster and you want to use a different wrestler, feel free to do that. Feel free to. WWE.com provides an insane amount of studio shots from these guys, so it'll be pretty easy. And I actually use some of those sometimes, because sometimes I don't have all the pictures. The WWE usually provides it for us, but I don't have every wrestler. So, like, for example, Goldberg, I didn't have any recent studio shots from him. I do have another Brock Lesnar one, but he's holding the championship belt and he's facing the other way, so it's not going to work for this poster. So I press Control J to, cut Brock out, and you can see I put a background so you can see now Brock is cut out pretty cleanly. And let's drag Brock over. I messed up. Let's drag Brock over to the poster. And we need to make him bigger. So let's go ahead and do that. I tilted him so he fits better. He might be tilted a little bit too much. Let's put him back. And the size is good. Let's drop him in there. It's good enough. Same thing I did with Ricochet. We're going to Control or Command U and desaturate Brock all the way. Control or Command L. And there's that mountain again. So I'll put him at the top. And then for the brightness and then the darkness, put that at the bottom of the mountain. And usually it's pretty good. I might have to make them brighter, but output level's 30. And let's make them a little bit brighter. Just a little bit. I think that looks good. So we'll go ahead and zoom in to the original and the one I just made. Levels look good, but we need to sharpen it a lot. And because it is it's not a photo provided from the WWE, the resolution isn't as high. So sharpening it, that's too much. One thing I do is sharpen more or sharpen. Sharpen will make it less. So yeah, so let's see how this looks. Let's cut out Brock first. So let's rasterize. And we're looking good. Looking good. It's pretty much done. All you have to do is, I'm gonna make the font thinner because on the original one I think I used a thinner font, and I'm kerning using Alt and the arrow keys so that the letters are closer to each other. Same thing with Ricochet. 1, 2, line them all up, and that looks more accurate now. Let's make sure those are lined well. Perfect. That looks good. I love it. I love it. This is looking good, man. And if you guys want to change the colors of the background, you guys could do that too. I mean, if you guys want to start making elimination chamber posters, make it red and gray, or red and white, or red and black, or red and orange, whatever colors you want to use. I'm using, obviously, the gold and purple for the Super Showdown. I don't know why the WWE logo is green on that logo. I'm not sure. But I'm going to use a pattern overlay on the shadow as I did with the original version. Scale it down. I'm actually gonna make it fully black. Take all the light away so that it's pitch black. Oh, you know what? I need to make it white. I messed up. Make it all the way white, and then rasterize that layer. And then I'll invert it and use the mode screen. So invert, and then screen. There we go. Let me lower the opacity a little bit. And just try to eyeball it, make it match it. The spacing's a little bit more than the original, but that's okay. It's close enough. No one's probably even gonna notice that anyway. So let's grab the Super Showdown look. Let me see. Let's lower the shadow. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I'm not even gonna lie. This is it's pretty accurate. Not perfectly the same, but good enough. Can you really even tell? So WWE sends me the Super Showdown logos in vector files. So I'm gonna use, is it PDF? Is that the one I used? Might be. And you know what? That's a different logo. Yeah, it doesn't have the trim. Let's try a different one. SVG. That's a vector file as well, and that is not the same logo. I want to use the same one. Let's try that other one. Is this it? Ah, that's the one. That is the one. So let's go ahead and grab that logo, bring it to the top, and center it. I'm gonna probably put the WWE logo so it is centered. I'm gonna zoom in so I can be as accurate as possible, and that's good enough. So we'll use that. Go out. It's looking good. All we need is the text now. Go back to the top, click, and we could put Brock Lesnar versus Ricochet. Ricochet. Let's change the font to Druid, and that is a font I use a lot when designing. Just use a regular basic medium. On the other one, I put Ricochet versus Lesnar, but I think it'll look better as Lesnar versus Ricochet, so it matches their sides. Make it bigger. And let's go ahead and type the info. February 27th, 2020. And that will be in the King International Arena Stadium in Saudi Arabia. This pay-per-view is in Saudi Arabia. Pretty cool stuff. I wish I traveled. That'd be cool. We'll go ahead and center that. All we're missing now after this, I think I did it wrong. There's a black stripes. What'd I do? There we go. Change that. All we're missing is the WWE on Fox logo. We got to put that logo on there because we got to let the fans know who is providing this content, right? Got WWE on Fox logos. Fox. No, WWE on Fox. That logo looks good. Drag, drop, size it, lower it, size it again, and I think that looks fine. Center it. Are we good? Might have to make it bigger. There, that's a big, that's fine. And yeah, looks like we're just about done. I don't think there's anything else really to it. But that's how I made this Super Showdown poster. I'm glad you guys were able to watch. If you guys make any different posters, please tag me in them. I want to see them. Again, any questions, just DM me on Instagram or Twitter, and I will reply to you. I'd love to help out, and I'd love to see what you guys create. So thanks for watching. Follow me, subscribe,